It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Yes, man, I've been waiting all weekend, really since last night, to do this show. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Yes, it is. We are now under daylight savings time. It is time, speaking of time, for the Geno Jones Daily Variety Show right here, live on my YouTube channel, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 in Chicago or Houston, with a hot girl and the Queen Bee. We're just killing the game last night. 3:30 out in the city of Angels, Los Angeles, where the 63rd Grammy was held. So today's show is going to be all about the Grammys. This is like a post-Grammy show with my monologue and everything else. The Geno Jones Show, brought to you by my friends at Lockwood Outdoor Advertising, converting cars to cash. That means the cars that drive by and they see this beautiful outdoor digital billboard. You got a company, you got a good service product you want people to know about, no matter where you are in America, on the planet. You may have a product where people can shop online. Well, you need to advertise and digital to see your company's name up in lights. It's got to be a beautiful thing. And you will be supporting Black-owned businesses. We are all about supporting Black-owned businesses on the Geno Jones Show, because if we, as Black folks, don't support Black business, who else will? And if we look at history, there ain't too many other people who've done it. They've destroyed Black businesses and stole from them. That's another history lesson for another show, even though we've talked about that in previous episodes. So Lockwood Outdoor Advertising. And check them out. Go to LockwoodOutdoor.com. That's LockwoodOutdoor.com. Thank you for being a sponsor here for the Geno Jones Show. So congratulations. We're going to get right into this monologue because I am on fire. And speaking of fire, well, did you see the Grammys last night? So congratulations, first of all, to my girl Lettucey for winning the Grammy for the Best R&B Performance, traditional R&B performance, for her song, Anything for You. Now, if you remember, my regular viewers, and if you missed the show, you can go back and you can binge watch the episode from February 2nd. Lettucey was a guest on the show, and I told her, I looked into her eyes, I said, Lettucey, my sister, we are going to name and claim, we are going to speak into existence you winning this Grammy. And, you know, she's a very modest and humble, talented and beautiful sister. And she was like, I hope so. I said, no, we're not hoping. We are naming and claiming. We are speaking into existence. Words are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful. Words, because words, in many cases, what you speak is what comes into existence. Your words can control your thoughts and actions. They're powerful. So we've got to speak positivity at all times. So congratulations to my girl Lettucey for winning that Best R&B Traditional Performance. Speaking of congratulations, let's go down to H-Town. Congratulations to the Queen Bee, Beyonce. This sister made history multiple times last night. First of all, she won her 28th Grammy, most for any female artist in the history of the Grammys. Think about all the legendary, iconic, from Whitney Houston to Aretha Franklin. I mean, you can go even old school, Billie Holiday, even though the Grammys and the Recording Academy that voted on the Grammys, they was really on some really racist stuff back in the day. I just got to keep it 1,000. But in spite of that, Beyonce making history, she won her 28th Grammy for Black Parade. Actually, she won 4 Grammys. Her and Blue Ivy won a video. I mean, they won for Best Video, so they won a Grammy. And since we were talking about more history, so Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion together, they made history. They became the first female artist to win a Grammy for the Best Rap Performance. She beat out the dudes, the women, everybody. The first female artist to win in the Best Rap Performance category. in the Grammys. So once again, congratulations. March, we know March is Women's History Month, and black women are always making history. So congratulations to the Queen Bee and to the Meg the Stallion down there in Houston now. Speaking of Megan the Stallion, the hot girl, she won 3 Grammys herself last night, including the Best New Artist, but she should have won 4. Now, you're saying, oh, come on, G, you just biased because, you know, sister, you, okay. That may be true, but I'm not the only one that thought so. As a matter of fact, there was somebody on TV who won a Grammy that Meg should have won. Don't take my word for it. Go back and roll the videotape. Billie Eilish. Now, in case you don't know, Billie Eilish is a 19-year-old pop star. She won a couple Grammys last year, and last night she won for Record of the Year for her song Everything I Wanted over Meg the Stallion's Savage. So Meg the Stallion and Beyonce, they went in and did a remix on Megan's single called Savage. And this remix with Beyonce on it is straight fire. So listen, Billie Eilish said herself, she said, I'm paraphrasing, she said, Meg, I was writing a speech. I was going to write a speech. I started to write a speech on why you deserve to get this Grammy. She said, you deserve this Grammy. She held it up, looked at Megan. You deserve this, Meg. This is your Grammy. She said, you deserve this. You had a year that was unstoppable. She said, you are a queen. I love everything you do. I watch and I follow you and everything you do. She said, please, everybody, stand up. At the Grammys last night, she said, stand up and give it up for Megan Thee Stallion. She said, Meg, I accept this award for you, but this is really your award. So I had to really give Billie Eilish some props. I wasn't necessarily feeling Billie Eilish like that, but yeah, to have that level of self-awareness and just to, as they say, keep it real, to be honest, it's like, hey, look, okay, yeah, I had a good year, but because really 2020 and the summer of 2020 was truly a hot girl summer. Hot Girl is like one of the big hits for Meg Thee Stallion's album that came out last year. So she just had an incredible year. Now, before I go to my contributor, my culture, she is like the culture contributor to the show, political contributor, my girl Keela Carson up in the 313. So let's talk about, let me just cut through the chase. Let me shout out Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion for their live from Magic City in Hotlanta impersonation of a live performance of WAP. Google Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. If you don't know, it's an acronym. If you don't know what WAP means, then I'm not about to tell you on the show. I'm just not. You had to find out on your own. But shout out to CBS because listen, I love the performance, but I said, let me check. I checked with my millennials, my daughter, my millennial and Z-lennials, who both love the performance. But you know, there's been a lot of buzz on social media, you know. So here's the bottom line, and I'm about to bring Key on, so we're going to really have a deep dive on this. So when you've got a generational difference, you've got gender issues, you've got misogyny and misogynoir, which is the intersectionality of misogyny and racism, then it really gets deep. And yes, race. So let me just say this. Little Richard, Elvis Presley, they were gyrating their hips. You had Prince brought bed. He would bring a bed on stage when he was on tour. He was on MTV with some jeans, literally with his ass out. Ass showing. He wrote a song called Do Me, Baby. He had another song called Sexy Motherfucker. He had a song called Erotic City with lyrics, fuck so pretty, yes, F so pretty, you and me, Erotic City, come alive. I'm paraphrasing. Bobby Brown. How many times has Bobby Brown, R. Kelly, they done concerts where they have almost more than simulated sex on stage, and folks loved it. Men and women loved it. Nobody complained about it. But then when you, like I said, now Madonna may have got a little feedback from her, like a virgin back in the day, and Britney Spears in her peak got a little, but nothing like the heat on social media that Cardi B, and Cardi B has been getting it. Meg the Stallion has been getting it. Oh my, I can't believe CBS did this, and oh my God, what has happened to the morals of my country, of our country, and our children are watching this. Well, your kids are watching a lot more. All right, you know they got this. What is it? Open fans. There's a lot of some of your regular programs. Not to mention soap operas in the daytime. I mean, just some of your shows that come on network or cable TV. They see worse than that or more explicit than that. But I digress. So I want to bring on Miss Keila Carson, a regular contributor to the Geno Jones Show. Let me just go ahead and bring you on. There we go, Miss Keila Carson. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever everybody's watching. So listen,
Hi, Geno.
I want you to pick up on my commentary. I just thought it was interesting. I noticed a lot of clutching of pearls, or I guess the dudes ain't wearing pearls.
I was clutching mine's mixed with a little bling, but yes, I clutched them.
Well, the dudes were clutching something else. It wouldn't be pearls. It may have been, some people call them the family jewels. They may not have been pearls, but the dudes were clutching something else after watching that performance. But you know, listen, some of the morality police, they have been like, oh, I can't believe that CBS and it was just so trashy. It was trashy and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like I was at a strip club and blah, blah, blah. So I give you the floor, my sister.
You know, first of all, here's the irony with CBS. Same network where
I know.
Justin.
I knew it. I saved that for you. I purposely, I left it out the monologue because great minds think alike. I said, I'm going to leave that for Keith because I knew that, because I thought about the exact same thing. Justin can pull a titty out, pull Janet's titty out.
Yeah,
and
right.
think about all the flack. People tried to ruin Janet Jackson's career. Oh, how they fined CBS like I think $500,000, and
FCC.
You would think that they had sex on like right there in the middle of the Super Bowl.
And she didn't even know this was a part of the act.
Thank you. And then his little punk ass, he threw her under the bus and ran and hid, and that lame apology, but to hell with him. But
yeah, so I'm just trying to pay a little homage to CBS yet again. For such a conservative network of all the networks.
So much for that.
So listen, here's where I'm at with it. First of all, let's be clear. Miss Keila Carson is 51, getting ready to be 52. And so I come from an era where, we all do, because you made a point of it with Elvis and
Richard.
And then there was Tom Jones and Prince during my era, or our era. I come from this age where we're a little more forgiving of this kind of stuff. You know, we were the generation where Madonna busted out at the award show like a virgin. And by the way, I want you to know that actually that the Like a Virgin was an uproar equivalent to Meg. Really? It just doesn't feel like it because it was so many years ago. But oh baby, Catholics were upset because of her name, and then she had the cross on, and it was.
But let me push back on this though. There was that one layer that she didn't have. Now just imagine if it was all that, and then Madonna would have been Janet Jackson.
Oh well, you're talking about the race.
Yeah. That whole
Yeah.
intersectionality, like I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier, when you
Right.
add
And
that last layer, and I want you to speak to, because see, here's the funny part, Key. I didn't mean to jump in, but
no, please.
it piggybacks on where you're going and what you're talking about. So here's the funny part. So society, i.e., white society, that have dictated the culture and written the history books for the most part, even though they're full of lies, that's another conversation. So they have created all these racial and sexual tropes about black men and black women. What do I mean when I say, tropes, stereotypes? The Jezebel, the Mandingo man, and, the over-sexualized, Hottentot, voluptuous black woman and the well-endowed black man. Y'all created this bullshit. We didn't create. Listen, this society, the dominant culture in society, created these myths and these tropes, these racial and sexual tropes about black people. And then they get offended if somehow someone, maybe from a physical standpoint, may actually fit that. But it's just so, that's the hypocrisy in it, Key. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
especially with black women, it's even worse.
I think people just want to talk. Just like on my timeline last night, they hadn't even gotten to they were just on Cardi B. And the thread was just blowing up. Listen, to a certain extent, some have been desensitized with what is going on. So before I speak to a broader issue, I want to hone in and go to the culture of the black people, right? We have desensitized objectification of women. Okay. And so what I want to say about the performance is this. I thought, first of all, it was beautiful. Just the
visual,
the
stage,
the
effects,
the visuals, the colors, the costuming, all that was beautiful. And what I would like to congratulate Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion on is at least owning the objectification.
Yeah.
And I gotta still say objectification because that's what it is. But we won't go too deep in the woods on that today.
Right.
But they have black women have graduated at least to the point that, okay, I'm gonna own my sexuality. I'm going to run the narrative on how this goes.
And
so instead of
go ahead.
So instead of me being a piece of somebody's WAP, I'm gonna tell you about how I'm gonna work this WAP. Is the difference.
Right. And wait, and this is an important element, Key, and this is the beauty in it, as far as I'm concerned, and I think a lot of people. Because not only is this say, okay, we're going to take this, how women are objectified, this objectification. So we're going to take that. We're going to take control. We are going to take the power, ownership. We are going to set the standards. We are going to determine how we, quote unquote, objectify ourselves. And we are going to make money off our own objectification. Because for decades, as long as the music industry has been around, sex has always, listen, Key, we both been in this game. How many record companies, how many record execs that look me in my eye and say, hey man, sex sells. This artist may not have the greatest voice, but she's pretty and got a great body, blah, blah. Sex sells. So let's just keep it 1,000. So artists like Cardi B, Meg, even started with Lil Kim, Foxy Brown. I guess to some degree you could say Madonna, you could say Janet Jackson, Beyonce. Yeah, Nick. I was gonna say Nicki Minaj,
and Beyonce.
Beyonce. Yes, they're like okay.
Let's not put her on a pedestal here.
Oh no, I would no. She's right in there.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying because that's what upset me about my timeline. I'm like, whoa, babe, whoa.
What'd you say, Keith?
Those jeans that those black jeans that Janet Jackson had on in The Pleasure Principle with her badonkadonk sticking out. Come on now. Straddling that chair. Come on now.
With the knee pad and the water coming down.
And what you need knee pads on for, little girl? You down there a long time when you need knee pads. So I'm just saying.
Keep bringing the heat today.
There's a lot of.
If we gonna go there, we gonna go there. Come on now.
To go around when we talk about using sexuality to sell a thing. Mm-hmm. This is not brand new.
Not at all.
Okay, but finish what you were saying.
No, well, no, that was the main point. That was, for me as a man and for somebody that's been in the industry. I mean, I've been in the entertainment industry. I have benefited. One could argue in a very, maybe not so indirect. Yeah, somewhat indirect because, I'm not a record exec and I didn't say, okay, she can't sing, but she got a great body. We're going to give her a record deal and promote her and pour a lot of money into, creating this image. But I have benefited from this system and I'll be the first one to own it. But I think it's beautiful. And I have a saying, Key, it ain't no fun when the rabbit gets the gun.
When the rabbit got the gun.
So now the women, they're like, hold on. We the rabbit, we got the gun. Now you run, okay? Go run.
and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that we can argue, my sorority sisters and I, and some of I was online last night with a friend of mine who is she's a journalist and also a professor, but I won't say a name or school or institution, but there are lots of women who are like, oh my God, no. But then there are some that are like, hey, if this is what it's got to be, then at least send the check to me. It's that there was this porn star. I forget her name. Was it Jenna James?
Jameson? Jenna Jameson?
Okay, don't tell me about owning your this one, at first she was just the person that got the call to, be cast in the picture. Then all of a sudden she said, why are these other people making money? Let me make my own movies. Let me sell my own products. Let me do my own branding.
Okay.
This years ago.
Yes. That's real talk.
So now that women are figuring the formula out, you can't be mad because a lot of country folk was jamming to Elvis while he was jiggling and wiggling, and Elvis was making the money off of that gyration.
And Elvis got it from Little Richard. And folks tried to, they tried, Little Richard went through all kind of racism, but people still, when he went on the road, white folks loved him.
Right.
Way back in the day. So it's one thing that some of the same people who were complaining about how it's destroying the morality of our society are the main ones. It's like this, Keith.
Listen, you can't sell cereal without somebody tomorrow. I mean, you can't.
Girl, you too much. You drop the mic, Keela, ladies and gentlemen. Keela Carson.
Without some commercials I watch and I go, well, what did they need all that for?
She's like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to buy? What am I buying?
Right. What is this product? I mean, everything from toilet paper to lotion to floor wax. I mean, it's sex.
Oh, that's the truth. Yes, absolutely.
Stop with the hypocrisy and judging with those. And as a matter of fact, honestly, if you rewind it today and look at it, it wasn't all that.
No, I mean, listen, you see.
You know what I mean?
Key.
When you can.
You see more than that on daytime soap operas. You see more than that on evening television. Yes. Depending on your show, you will see a lot more than that.
Yes. Now, if people want to have a deeper conversation about how did we get here, then you can't start with blaming Megan the Stallion
Oh, come
and
on.
Cardi B and others and the Beyoncés and Nicki Minaj's. You can't blame.
Foxy
You have to
Brown,
go
Lil
back
Kim,
so
Janet,
far.
Madonna. None
Yeah,
of them.
come on, none of them. First of all, you can't even blame women.
Thank you. Well, I was about to go. If I was Marilyn Monroe,
Right,
you name whatever sex symbol in any era. At the end of the day, the people who were in positions of power, who decided that who decided the images that would be
right,
projected to the masses, and the people that owned the gatekeepers that own the
right,
networks and the platforms, which would be TV stations back in the day, because you didn't have cable and you didn't
right.
have YouTube and all these other platforms, were primarily 99 and 9/10% white men.
Oh, please. You go back to before color TV and you have women with comment in their hand. I'm cleaning my bathtub with uh pencil waist, a dress, heels. I'm like, what
Lipstick.
toilet are you cleaning? So yeah, you going back to the admin or the madman
Yeah,
is,
you're right. Good point. Yes,
okay.
that's a great
When you
example.
really talk about how we objectify women. So kudos to Cardi B and Megan the Stallion for getting the check
Right. And
and
this.
owning
Mhm.
and owning. Now, I'm not saying that that image or branding of yourself, oneself, doesn't come at a price. The price you pay is like Megan the Stallion had to go through with that Tory
Tory
Lanez
Lanez. Yeah.
shooting her in the foot,
Yeah.
and she got to defend herself because she's a woman. And
And and let me say this, Key, because that had nothing to do with her image of being this
no, no,
sexy
no,
sexual vixen. That was just really some domestic violence BS,
it is,
alleged.
but
Yeah. So
I'm talking about the treatment of women.
yes.
Okay, so I'm saying that, and that lifestyle, you know, um, and I do know that it happens in every household. By the way, Gino. I'm just saying the way it was on social media and the judgment of her, and that comes along with the lifestyle that she lives because that's the way they communicate.
Yeah, and they perceive that if you look a certain way, if you
Right,
dress a certain
right,
way, if you have a certain image,
right,
in the public, because you're this sexy entertainer that's showing a lot of
right,
skin, then
right,
then you invite, which is bullshit. I'm just gonna call it what it is.
right. I
And
mean, they expect that when you go out to dinner, you're gonna throw your booty on the table and invite anybody who wants it to have a piece.
and let me be honest, Key. Let me just say this because I'm a man. You can say it, but I need to say it. All right.
Mm,
The problem is that too many men have used it as an excuse for bad behavior or to
yeah,
be violent, sexually violent, physically violent. I don't care if she's standing there butt naked, breastises jiggling, behind out. They don't give you a license to touch her. All
that's
right,
right.
it
Just
ain't.
say
It's
no.
not your body. It's her body, and that's just
That's
real
right.
talk. And
That's right.
anybody, any dudes, men watching it, get me. Oh, you just trying to. I don't care what you think, what you say. That's just let a woman try to tell a man what he can and can't do with his body. Let a bunch of women sit around and write legislation and laws deciding on when you can have sex and what happens if you get somebody pregnant. Men would not tolerate it, Keela Carson. Listen to
Of
me,
course.
everybody. Listen to me, America and the world. Men wouldn't tolerate for 30 seconds women in general sitting around making laws about what they can do and who they can do, and they wouldn't tolerate it.
Hmm.
But they
And
expect women to tolerate it.
and don't tell me about the power structure and oh, how could this go on? CBS knew doggone well what that performance
They saw the rehearsal, Key.
was going to be.
They saw the
Not
rehearsals.
not only did they see the rehearsal, they invited them to be on. Now, did they expect that Cardi B and Megan were going to come out in their habits, their nun habits, and sing WAP. You know,
Key, listen, that was a decision that
we
was
all in prayer. Is that what WAP was to CBS? No.
Key. Tell him this. Let's tell him. That decision was signed off on at the highest levels. We talking about at the president. Les Moonves is gone now. So I don't know, Gayle King must have a whole bunch of juice. And I don't know, Gayle may have been like, I'm proud of him, but oh my God. So the point we're trying to make is that decision was signed off at the highest levels. They knew exactly what song they were going to perform. They knew basically, because they did, if you saw it, they did basically clean up, quote unquote, clean up the lyrics. It was more like a TV friendly, because trust me,
the clean version.
Y'all didn't get the uncut adult version lyrically.
The one Sheila downloaded.
The one you downloaded. So
Just saying.
They knew. So listen, at the highest levels, the management at CBS signed off on it, because you know what? You and I are talking about it, and I guarantee you the numbers, especially because see, I think that a lot of people will make a mistake. They'll probably look at, well, what kind of ratings did it get? That's old media, but I guarantee you.
How many clicks does it get?
I guarantee you, Key, through the roof, still getting clicks and downloads and likes. I get on demand. CBS is probably getting more viewers on demand than they ever had.
That's right. Shares, likes, conversation threads, all of that. Hashtag.
Yes, thank you.
You know, I mean, that's where it counts. And trust and believe today, from the performance up until today, it was just a hot thing for people to discuss. And again, to me, it's just all talk. I love social media, and I want people to express themselves, but not to the point where we're going to really vilify each other. Because when it gets to that point, then I'm like, oh, wait, whoa. All that stuff you're talking, we need to go and really then solve some problems, which means that a lot of us are going to be responsible for the judgment that we are participating in. We are a part of the problem.
And Keith, speak to as a woman, speak to how misogyny can kind of creep into maybe the conversation, or maybe how even some women may view something like that, because I would be curious to get some of the feedback, and I get it, and a part of this, we have to be honest, let me just interject this again, a lot of it is generational, because trust me, when Prince came out, we had parents, some of our parents and grandparents was like, what is, oh my God, I can't. And then when Bobby Brown started doing his thing, gyrating and Tenderoni. Look at a Bobby Brown live video when he's performing Tenderoni, or one of the R. Kelly videos. Just go down the catalog.
Everybody's chest was
bump and grind. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. I could go on. It seems like you're ready. I could go on and on. Yeah. Just go down his whole catalog.
We're not going to talk about R. Kelly.
I know, but the point I'm trying to make is that because it's not about R. Kelly. It's just the misogyny in terms of how we view this. Like I said, Prince went on MTV back in the 90s, 20 plus years ago, with a pair of jeans on live TV with literally with his ass out, a hole in the jeans where his butt cheeks were out.
Listen, you don't need male deacons at the church looking over people, because you got 25 pews of women judging each other.
Uh-oh.
And
tell the truth, shame the devil.
It is what it is. Women are the worst in judging each other. There is no comparison.
Why is that, Key? It's a man. For me and the men that are watching, just kind of let us look at it through the prism of a woman. Why is that? Because I've noticed that women in a lot of cases are harder on other women than a lot of men are.
I think the root starts, imagine the mother-daughter relationship, right? And the mother is trying to prevent the daughter from being like her and getting into trouble, or like some other women that she may have known, so that is to me, the root. That's where it starts. And then the daughter does the same thing, and on and on. But I think at the end of the day, it's fear-based.
In what way?
And fear-based is one, and
No, fear
jealousy.
in what way?
But fear is the most prevalent. Fear that
Afraid of what?
Fear of how you're viewed.
Okay.
Fear of what could happen to you.
Okay.
Fear of how whatever you're trying to look like or act like affects you in the world, your station in life, i.e. the pastor's wife who can never go out for a glass of wine without you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
The judgment is
Right. You got to be holier than thou, but I can do what the hell I want to do. And it's okay. I can live by a different set of rules, but you got to live by these rules that I'm not even willing to live by.
Exactly. So that the man can feel comfortable and go about doing whatever he wants to do. So the women police, the girlfriend police, the sister girl, we on the job, baby. 24 hours a day. We won't pick up the phone to talk to anybody about making some money, but we'll pick up that phone.
Girl, can you believe what she wore to church?
Had on?
Can you believe
That's
what
right.
Can you see what she wore to church? You see
That's right.
That skirt was way up to her pubic.
Oh yeah.
And the pastor.
Did
you see the pastor looking? Ooh yeah, girl.
She ain't got a prayer cloth on. I mean, it's terrible. And we don't even wait to leave the church. We texting now.
In the church, we text.
In the church. So I think that's the root. And women judge women so harshly, but I think the main thing is because of fear of how they're perceived, fear of what will happen to them. And then we pass this on, and it becomes this ugly habit. I'm not saying that women are altogether comfortable with that, because a lot of us, and I put myself in that pool, we say, wait a minute, because there but for the grace of God go I. And we know that what Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion did on stage, maybe we don't want everybody else to see that, but oh boy, don't we want to be it.
Hey, Key, I just thought about this.
Because we like...
Let me just throw this out here.
You know what I'm saying?
I know. Well, you love this.
Who don't want to be free and sexy?
Let me throw this out here. I bet you'll love this. For all those who are, Generation Xers like us, or even the baby boomers.
Yeah.
Let's throw this out there, Key. How many of y'all loved you some Betty Wright?
Oh.
Wait, how many of y'all loved y'all some Millie Jackson?
Yeah.
Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, you name it, Lil Kim, Foxy Brown, none of them didn't have nothing. If you want to talk about just raw, I'm in control. This is my sexuality. I'm making money off of me. None of them had nothing. Yeah. Go listen to some old Millie Jackson albums.
Millie Jackson said she had to say it, and she told you what it was. And you mentioned Betty, God rest her soul. Be a cook in the kitchen, lady in the street. You can't show to every guy you meet. It's all right to be a little sweet, but be a mama with the kids, and you know what in the street. No pain, no gain. And even that, you know what? All that stuff I just said, that don't even have nothing on the real line in the song, which is no pain, no gain. Let's teach ourselves that if you want love, well,
it shouldn't hurt.
he gonna treat you bad. It's gonna hurt. I mean, come on now.
It should not hurt. Absolutely, you're right.
It should not. It doesn't have to hurt. But so there are, like I said, we'd have to go back so far until it.
We don't have enough time tonight.
Right, we wouldn't even know where to begin. But a lot of this is psychology that we got to deal with. A lot of women will judge Megan and Cardi, but when they get home and close the door, they whopping it up and trying to learn how to whop it
and you know, twerking and got the body magic and
listen, I have been to all the parties, the pole parties,
what you the
drop it like it's hot,
the adult toys and the lingerie and all the little
all of that.
He said all of that. I've been all
candy birds. I got her lipstick on right now.
There you go.
Listen, and women, who do you think buying all these products of these? You know what I mean? You know, toy products and all of the accessories that go along with that. Women, because we want to feel sexy and we want to be sexy, and it's okay. A lot of women just had a problem with seeing it on the stage.
And could have been, and for in some cases, Key, could have been a little bit of jealousy because
absolutely
these are young women and fit and
absolutely
just they're like
absolutely
because they know they know the husband or the boyfriend or the son is like
right,
and some of the women are like
that's nothing new. The beautiful woman that walks in the room who hadn't even done any whopping. She just walking.
Say no twerking. She just talking.
She just walking in the room. And they mad at her because she takes care of herself and she looks good and all that. So yeah, I mean, come on.
So Key, I got one. I love this conversation. I knew it would be fire when I was watching this last night. I thought about you because I knew your contribution would be fire and be real. So I got one final question before I let you get out of here. Now you've got a daughter that's going on 21. My youngest, Allie, will be 20 in November. Boogie's already in her 30s. Now, what I've noticed with my daughters and their peers and friends, and I want to see if you've noticed it with your daughters. These young women, and not just the black ones, but I can speak to my daughters are black, so I can speak to black women. Millennials and the Generation Z, the ones that's around 20, they don't give a damn. They're taking ownership of all of themselves. I mean, in the full spectrum of whatever every dimension of womanhood, I see them taking control and ownership and saying, damn it, it ain't gonna be no pimping. If it's gonna be some pimping, I'm the pimp. Yes, I'm the pimp. Right.
I'm the PIMP.
I'm the one that's making them. If we gonna make some money, I'm making money off me. You working for me. Do you see that same? They're fearless. They don't really care about your feelings or what you got to say. They're like, okay, when you get through talking, I'm counting these stacks now.
That's exactly right. And listen, it had to happen because they watched their moms,
good point,
me, their dads,
grandparents,
your wife. They said, and I mean, listen, no shade on mom and dad and all that.
No, it's just real. Yeah.
It's just the natural evolution.
Thank you. Every generation, we were a little more progressive than our parents and grandparents. That's the way it is. Natural evolution. Yes.
So they're like, okay, well, I'm cute and I got a body, but I'm not gonna give it to you for free.
And I got a brain. I can have both.
And I got a brain. And I can make some money if I get 10,000 likes or 100,000 or 1 million or 10 million. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna sit on social media all day and post my pictures and get my likes up and get a check.
Or
I mean,
the OnlyFans, they got these it's called OnlyFans. It's basically
yeah,
it's like a version of YouTube where basically
right.
they have their own digital platform. Because it was a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to talk to you about it. We didn't get a chance to. Camille Wimbush, who played Bernie Mac's daughter, I forgot
Mm-hmm.
her name, on the Bernie Mac show. She's 30
Mm-hmm.
now, but
Mm-hmm.
she posted some pictures,
Yep.
pretty sexy looking pictures. She wasn't
Right.
revealing everything, but
Right.
you saw enough. But
Right.
it
They're
wasn't porn. I wouldn't
more
call it.
tantamount to soft porn,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I said, when I think of soft porn back in the day, I would think of like a Victoria's Secrets catalog or like Essence magazine where they had the sisters in the underwear. So it wasn't quite that soft. It was, I don't know what's in between
By
soft and
today's
hard.
standard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it would probably be like not hard but firm, maybe.
But the point is that
Yeah.
young women is in particular, because we're speaking of women, they're owning their brands. They're on social media. They know how to use it. They know how to monetize it.
Yes.
Um, they know their culture, and they know what sells. So we can't expect that, or we should have expected that this would be the natural progression. Um, they're more mouthy. By, by that I mean that they don't
I know what you
they
mean.
don't associate the consequences of their words and what they say and what they publicize the way that we did,
It's an inside joke.
because it's not it wasn't the same,
Right.
you know.
We're laughing. It's an inside joke.
Okay.
But yes,
and,
mouthy could be an adjective. Yes.
and then because some of us, didn't necessarily pop them in the mouth as a kid anyway,
Which
a
was good.
lot of them just speak their mind.
But it's fearless. But a lot of us, you were fearless. Like I said, it's just like you
Yeah,
said.
but not,
It's the
but not the way
evolution.
they are.
It's the evolution. Yes.
Yeah, we were fearless, but very controlled and manipulative in
Right.
how we said things, and
Now, Key, I gotta be
but
honest.
the young people now, no, they'll tell you
Yeah. Now,
how it is without any concern.
I'm not going to indict anyone specifically, but I have seen growing up, there was some in our generation that some
Yeah.
would call, that our parents would call a little mouthy,
Yes. Yes.
or fearless.
I was mouthy for my time,
You're
but
right.
nothing like my daughter. My daughter is out of this world. I don't
Next
get it.
level. Well, I bet your mom said the same thing about you, Key,
Oh yeah,
and her
Oh, yeah,
mom,
for
and her
sure.
mother said the same thing about her.
exactly. So it's all relative. That's the bottom line. Elvis shook his shimmy shimmy, and so did Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. It's all relative. Now I don't know where we're going from here. I hope I'm dead,
We say,
because
what's left?
there's nowhere left to go
You know
but
what?
porno.
Listen, you know what might happen? It might, because things
Go backward.
I was gonna say, because everything in life, fashion, you name everything, goes full cycle.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
you might
just
be
might.
right. So next year, maybe somebody will have on a non-habit.
Come in with everything long
Covered up
dress,
to here, turtlenecks.
right? Covered up
You know.
completely. Yeah, no
I wanna
makeup.
and you know what? And that's, listen, I realized yesterday, I finally just closed the book and said, it's over. I will catch the Grammys, Grammy performances on YouTube, because it's not there. There are very few people now on the shows that I even want to see. I don't, it's gotten to the point where I'm aging myself out of, I loved Bruno Mars and the Anderson Paak, and that what's that, Silk Sonic is
Yeah.
their fake
Their
group
group,
name
yeah.
over there.
They're doing a
group name. I shouldn't say fake. That's the group name. But Leave the Door Open. You know, I love that.
Her was she is so talented.
Love her.
And let me say this, Key, real quick, and I know before you have to run. I was not a fan of this young lady because of what I feel some problematic things that she has said, some posts she's had on social media, in terms of, seemed like she was kind of struggling with her identity, which is okay. But wow, I saw her perform. I'm talking about Doja Cat.
Oh, Doja Cat.
Ooh, Doja Cat. Yeah. Her song, and a lot of her fans felt that she got robbed, that she should have gotten some of the awards over either Megan or Billie Eilish. But that's another conversation. But listen, Billie Eilish told you herself, look, that girl, because I mean, you can't argue. Her. Yeah, and you can't argue. Yes, you can't argue with the year that Megan Thee Stallion, in terms of not just the songs, the downloads, the radio airplay, the video airplay, but the impact that she had on the culture. And like I said,
it was her time.
It was every year, Key, there's that one artist
that's right.
Everything, the stars align and everything, because the
shooting, her coming out right at the Me Too time, and
the pandemic, everybody quarantined.
That's right, and her using social media.
Yeah, think about
in a way in that case, we're like, wow. I mean, now we're going on video and talking about how somebody shot you, and I mean, it was. Yeah. I was like, whoa. What is that?
Think about 2019. You know who had that same kind of year in 2019, and she was there at the Grammys last night as a presenter. Lizzo.
Oh, Lizzo. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's like, I'm back.
She was at a Laker game with her ass out. Was like, and she was like, "Hey, y'all can trip."
Even though Lizzo kind of left us at a very teeny young age, we still claim her here in the D.
That's right, because she is originally from Detroit and she moved to Houston.
Yes. But so I mean, it is the time of the woman, an era of woman. Era of the woman. There's no stopping it. This train is going to be, I don't even think the train is up to full speed yet.
And here's the thing, Keith, let me just say this.
It's more to come.
And let me just say this, as a man and as a black man, there's nothing to fear, there's nothing to be intimidated by, because at the end of the day, if you bring the heat, you bring the heat. So next year, you could, listen, Chris Brown, to me still, to this day, Key, Chris Brown is the closest thing that I've seen to Michael Jackson.
Dancing wise and entertainment.
Chris Brown is the closest thing. Now,
such a sad story.
Right. Yeah. Now, maybe some other things in his life were problematic. I have seen growth in him, just looking at his own social media. You can look at his Instagram, but just in terms of raw talent.
Yeah.
Raw talent.
Well, I think he sings so beautifully and dances out of this world.
I'm telling you, the only person, and of course he will tell you that his number one influence was Michael Jackson. That's why I said the only person that I can sing, I'd have to put Bobby, because people sleep on Bobby, but in Bobby's prime in terms of a dancer, but for me, Michael Jackson was the standard. And the closest thing that I've seen to Michael, even counting Bobby Brown, is Chris. Because Chris Brown, this kid, but voice, can sing, is a decent actor. This kid is, you talking about 5 tools. He is, I think the only thing that would put any kind of limitation on as far as he wants to go as an entertainer would be himself. Because he's got the talent to where you can't stop him.
Yeah.
And we watched him grow up, and we watched him not as young as Mike. The world saw Michael Jackson when Michael was 5. But Chris was a teenager. Chris was like 15, 14, a little younger than Usher, and Usher's still around. So I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is that, listen, these women shine, and it's great. It just adds to the culture. because that's not stopping Commons and Jay-Z's and a lot of these talented. I mean, people, Bruno Mars, that whole identity thing. People say he's a culture vulture, and listen, look at Puerto Rican. He's just, Puerto Ricans, they have this African part of that whole mix, African and Spanish. So I'm not about to give you all a lesson in
Is
history.
Bruno Mars Puerto Rican? I thought he was Hawaiian. More of the
Puerto Rican, Filipino. That's how he self-identifies.
Oh, Filipino. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
But
whatever.
Yeah, but that hair and that melanin look is some African in there. You can you can go Tiger Woods and talk about carbonation all you want to, but that hair ain't carbonation. and that melanin ain't carbonation. So you can talk all you want to. See, that's the one thing about nature. You can fool a lot of people, but you can't fool nature. Nature be like, okay, carbonation. Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I see you.
You and G got that same texture hair combination.
But yeah, I mean, there's no stopping women.
And why would we? Why would we?
There are so many issues that we are busting through and getting through, learning through, and that the train.
So Key,
I talked about the train. The train is on the tracks, is moving.
It's gone.
And it hasn't hit full steam yet.
It's an express, but here's the thing, Key. I mean, it only enhances the culture. It doesn't take away, like I said, it doesn't take away from any male performer, male anything. I mean,
but that's another show.
But
because
listen, let me say this.
It's the same reason why Black people as a whole, men and women, are oppressed, because others don't want to share. They think it's the pie can't be split and everybody can be happy. And so men do the same thing to women. Black men do the same thing to Black women. It just is what it is.
But in all fairness, Key, I have to say this. Not even most men or most Black men. Like I said, I mean,
not even most Black men what?
don't want you to shine.
Oh no. Okay, that's another show.
Yeah. No, I'll speak anecdotally. And so let me tell you why I'll speak anecdotally, because the men who want you to shine, and who want to be the wind beneath your wings, society, for a lot of reasons, including maybe women, and that's another conversation. They get ignored. We get ignored, and we don't get any attention. But I don't do it. When you hear me, listen. Everybody knows that I have the utmost respect, and I celebrate Black women. I was raised in a house by Black women. I've seen the struggle, the racism, the misogyny, even the misogyny and sexism that Black women have had to deal with from some Black men. But then I've also seen Black men like my grandfather, who, was supportive and created a climate for, my mother to, in spite of the challenges, to still to succeed. I mean, they set her off on a good path. That was, my grandparents were together. Now keep in mind, my grandfather was 72 years older than I was, but they have been together forever, and they passed within like a year and maybe 2 years of each other. So I'm saying, and I want to say this to all the Black women out there specifically, because we're speaking of our culture. I can't speak to anyone else's culture. I can speak as an expert to our culture as a Black man. There are millions of Black men that root for your success, because, Key, your light, the brightness of your light don't dim my light. The only person that can dim my light is me. I control the dimmer switch. And if your light is bright, that should be motivation and inspiration for me to, okay, I'm gonna come with it.
Well, you're right. but it's a deeper conversation because there are men who have suppressed
Yes, I
emotions,
agree.
and they are
So let me offer this
not
suggestion. Let's focus
supportive,
as
eh,
it.
even when they think they are.
So I agree, but let me
Yeah.
say this. Here's my suggestion. Let's focus on the ones who do want you to win, because it's a lot. If it's more of us that want you to win than don't want you to win, but we
Well, I
don't.
don't know
We
about
don't.
that.
Well, take my
I don't
word
know
for it,
about
Key.
that. I
It
don't know
is,
about
but you don't focus. They don't get any attention. They get ignored. I'm just speaking as a man.
that.
And I have this conversation with a lot of male friends.
Yeah.
I see examples, but they don't, it's like in news. You know what? If it bleeds, there's a term, if it bleeds, it leads. That means it has to be like
Right.
disaster or somebody for the news media to really pay attention and really shine a spotlight. But good news doesn't sell. We talking about like sex sales, bad
Right.
news sales, and conflict, and conflict between black men and black women. But the truth is,
Yeah, I don't know how, um like I said, the onion, yeah, we we got to peel back too many layers because it's hard to even,
there's history behind it. I get that, and
yeah, it's
that could be
hard
another
for a
show.
black man to be as supportive as he needs to be with his black woman who is on the come up when he doesn't even understand the suppression that's been lumped on him. So I just
Well, there's some men like that, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of us that's not like that.
there's a lot of men, Gina,
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
Because it comes out in ways that you don't
okay.
even recognize until a woman says,
All right.
but
Okay,
let's congratulate.
I don't have a percentage, but I'm saying
Yeah.
for as many men who are like that, I guarantee you, there's actually more that's not like that, but they won't get attention because nobody celebrates them. And I'm not crying. I don't listen. I uplift
Well,
black women. Not,
I just
I
want
don't
to
want to be
say,
celebrated. It's just that's because I was raised that way. I was raised in a house full of women, and no matter how well my sisters, my daughters, Damaris, that's not taking nothing from me. I'm gonna be the best version of myself, irregardless. So it ain't like a competition in front of this camera. My competition is anybody that's breathing. Man, woman, machine, I don't give a damn.
well,
So,
I get you,
yeah,
Gina.
yeah,
We'll save
yeah,
that
right.
conversation
Yeah.
for
But
later.
I'm owning that it is a problem. But
Yeah,
what
it's huge.
what I am asking all women in general is just, you know what? Focus on the men, the brothers who are rooting for you. Because we are rooting for you. And focus on them, work with them. We want you to win. And we don't want anything in return. I don't want you to win
Okay.
because I'm trying to sleep with you. I want you to win because if I see you're good at something, I want to enjoy what you're good at, and vice versa. And I'm going to be great at what I do. And
So,
and your greatness does not diminish my greatness at all.
well, I just want to full circle this and what you're saying, and I will let you wrap up your show.
Because some
I
men
just
say that
say,
about women, Key. Some
okay,
men say that about women. And I think that's toxic. But like you said,
yeah,
we'll
it
have
is.
that show and we'll try to get some
Yeah,
experts, some academics that's done the research and written books and
yeah.
studied this because
Because
we have
I
been
would
taught to hate each
argue,
other. Yeah.
yeah, well, we got problems. And and I would argue that this entire show that we've done today, this hour and 8 minutes, wouldn't even be a show if black man supported his women like you say most of them do,
I didn't say
because then
most. I won't say
there
mo-
wouldn't
I won't say most.
there wouldn't be a WAP to talk about.
Yeah. Well, and I won't say most. I'm just saying that for as
Yeah.
many who don't get it, and there's misogyny and there's sexism that's been in the black community since there have been black folks, because that's a trait, that's a human trait. Misogyny and sexism is something that is like a disease that, too many men have. So I'm just being 1,000, and black men are not immune from that. I own that. I witnessed that. So I understand that, but I do know there's so many, even younger brothers that see that, and that want to be. Listen, teeth and tongue fall out. None of us are perfect. We all can be a piece of work. Look, I'm work. I tell people I'm a work in progress.
Yeah, you couldn't have WAP that performance last night with the support of our black men. You that would have never been heard of.
So let me understand you before you leave, because this will be another topic. Maybe we'll do it later in the week. Mm-hmm. So you're saying if sexism and misogyny didn't exist, then you wouldn't have this whole movement in terms of women's empowerment and just a reckoning in terms of wanting equity, not just equality, but equity?
If you have, I'm talking about our culture, blacks.
Okay.
If you have black men that really support the black woman, you could never have had WAP.
So why if you can explain to me like in 60 seconds.
Because there would be no need.
So how would it look different then? How would that look different?
It would not exist.
So
because we would be at home with our WAP, with our husband.
But what about
we wouldn't be talking about it on stage.
But what about
there would be no need.
But okay, so let me ask you this then.
Because there would be no market.
Okay, well, yeah, we have to have, because I'm saying, what about the women who embrace this is who they are, and they want to own it and control it? I feel empowered. I want to, I'm in control of my own sexuality, how I express it, and I'm expressing it in a way to where I monetize it. I'm my own boss. I'm making the money. So what would you say you're saying that if more black men, if there was less misogyny and sexism,
if
women
more
wouldn't.
Black women felt loved and supported, really supported, they wouldn't need to do a WAP.
But what if they wanted to? That's what I'm asking. What if there's something that they wanted to take control of their own sexuality? Because I know you teach young people, and I've had so many conversations with young, and especially when you have two daughters, and you learn a lot. Now, I've been educated that we talked about their generation, they just look at sexuality differently now. I mean, they are, listen, I want to take control of my womanhood in every dimension.
They're looking at it after the years and years of trickle down misogynistic attitudes, treatment, and the pushback from their mothers, grandmothers, and on and on and on down the generation. So then you end up with Gen Y and Gen Z millennials who are like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, and saying, okay, well, let me take ownership of this. Because if you're going to do this, then if this is the order of the day, then at least let me benefit. What I'm saying to you is if we had supported, meaning black men, our women differently and really been there, where there would be no WAP.
Well, okay.
We wouldn't be acting this way.
So I can't let you go, because I think this is important. And I'm sure there are men that's watching that we want to know. We ask questions. We want to know what really makes you happy. What do you want? Not what I want you to have. It took me a long time to learn. I think I mentioned this. I had to learn to love Damaris the way that she wanted to be loved, not the way I wanted to do it. And for years, for decades, I didn't get that. Not because, and it wasn't about, I don't know what she would have called it. Maybe she would have said, well, that's a form of sexism or misogyny. But I don't know, when you're trying to care for somebody or provide the best life for them that you want them to have, but I guess you could make an argument that somebody might say that was, but when I learned, and you know who coached me up? You know who told me that? My mother.
Yeah.
I had to learn to love Damaris, not the way I wanted to do it,
Right.
the way she wanted it and needed it. And there's a big difference. And that does go both ways. Women, you got to understand, that goes both ways too. So in closing,
people are married to stereotypes and trained in generational habits and ways, and then that ends up becoming who you are and how you act and how you treat your children, your husband or wife or whatnot. But
before you
yeah,
go,
I wholeheartedly believe that.
tell me this though.
Wholeheartedly.
Let me jump in. Tell me this, because this is so important. I don't want people to miss it. Tell me, and the guys that's watching, you said if men would have been more supportive, and I'm paraphrasing, giving the women what they needed, women wouldn't feel the need to take ownership of their own sexuality or empowerment. So what does that support and love, what does it look like? Can you describe, could you, if you were sitting down counseling a group of men, what would that support look like?
It's more, it's difficult to explain. I'm not a psychologist, but it's more benign than anything. But if you want to look at some action,
Yes,
it's really understanding that we are beyond sexual norms. He take out the garbage, you take out. That there's a benefit to sharing the responsibility of the household. Coming home, everybody's working because we got to make money here, but only one person is cooking, cleaning, dealing with the children, whether it be schoolwork or just their social issues and things that they're going through, adolescence. It's really getting involved in all that. And then it's also not holding the woman you're with to the standards of whatever freaky deaky fantasy you got about what she should be. I mean, you married her, so, but now all of a sudden, you don't like this, you like that, and you're, so we got to get right with the women, and then you have less of the necessity for Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, because both of them, in a perfect world, please, they'd be at home with their babies.
But I still, because I know there's some women that's
they
watching.
They wouldn't have a career, but
right. I was gonna say, because I know there's some women that's watching this saying, "Wait a minute, what you talking about? You in your 50s? I'm in my 20s or 30s. I want a career. I want to be like Oprah. I ain't trying to be at home."
I'm talking about a career where your ass is the
the asset.
Right. I mean, come on now.
You know
there
what?
are ways to make money. You don't have to pump on the floor to do it.
So I tell you what. So we're gonna end on a cliff note here, like a good soap opera. So what we're gonna do, Key, and we'll talk off camera. I want us to drill down on this specific, because I think this will be a fascinating topic, and let's try to bring on some guests. I would love to bring.
You need a therapist, a psychologist.
Well, okay, so yes, so we are producing the show in real time. We're producing a future show in real time. So yeah, let's get that professional, maybe therapist, somebody that knows history, that understands the history in terms of how white supremacy and nationalism and racism has affected the relationship between black men and black women, and how each view each other. And I would love to get maybe someone that's an exotic entertainer, someone who would, because I think that perspective, because I'd like to get like a diverse perspective, and see what kind of makes everybody tick, because I think it would be, I think we could learn a lot. You know, I think it
But
would be a
I
fascinating
just think
conversation.
that in this case, if we're really truly trying to find out,
Yeah.
you can't ask the cancer patient, how they got the cancer. I mean, and how
But
they, I mean,
some of these women would probably they would take offense to them being referred to as cancer
of course,
patients because they're like, listen, nobody's making me do anything. I could do because
no,
there's some
you're
women that are
right.
smart, this I mean, got law degrees. I mean, just got in terms of what they call formal education. But this is
You're
what
right.
they say, you know what, this is what I'd like to do. This is what I love to do. I love the
Right.
money. I own it completely. There's no objectification because I'm the boss. I'm in control. So I would like to
Right,
get all those
but
different
when you peel
perspectives.
back the onion and you find out, oh, the daddy wasn't there. Oh, this happened. Oh, the mama got beat by the dad. There wasn't no money in the home. Oh, the boyfriend that she had then stole all her money. And then you get down the line and you go, oh, you know, so because you're not hearing a whole lot of stories about kids who came up in households that were well adjusted and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and dad and mom, dad treated mom this way, and
There's a
and then
few. There's a few though.
there,
Yeah, there's a few.
yes, I said many,
Yeah, yeah. There's a
but
few.
that then objectifying themselves is their choice of career. That's not an everyday story.
And I wonder how much. That's why I said I'm looking forward to this because I wonder how much of this will be generational because,
Well,
there's a generational difference in terms of the use of the N word, which is a whole nother show. So
right.
I think part of this could be generational. So that's going to be a fascinating show. This was a fascinating show. Thank you, Key. I know you always bring the heat. I love it. So yes, we'll have to talk off camera. We got to put that show together because I'd like to get all those different voices on the show and analyze it, like you said, from a societal standpoint, the pathology, history, but in terms of just a standpoint of just empowerment in its modern day 21st century form for especially millennials and Generation Zillennials. Because like I said, they look at this stuff differently. Just like we look at stuff differently than our parents. They're like, okay, y'all tripping. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm good. So it'll be a great conversation. Thank you, Keela Carson.
Thanks, Geno.
You're the
Thanks,
best.
everybody.
I love you. We'll
Love you
talk
too.
soon. Oh, man, every time I get Key on, I love it. It's always heat. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you. God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show daily variety show, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here in the Carolinas. The Geno Jones Show brought to you by Lockwood Outdoor Advertising, converting cars to cash. The only black-owned outdoor digital advertising company here in the state of South Carolina. Support black businesses, support this black business, see your business's name, your goods, your products, your service up in lights to promote what you're doing. People can do business with you online. Now, you don't even have to have a business here. You can have an online business. So, LockwoodOutdoor.com. That is LockwoodOutdoor.com. I love you, each and every one of you. Thank you for watching, Mother. I love you too. Shout out to Bruce Gage, the official wardrobe consultant for the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram, Bruce Gage, Gage, Bruce Gage, Gage, and flyballthestore.com, flyballthestore.com. Shout out to the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show, Markel Bailey, on Instagram, KELBECUTTIN, KLB Cuttin. All right, everybody, I enjoyed it. Congratulations once again to all the dynamic black women that just dominated the Grammys last night, from Lettucey to Beyonce to Megan Thee Stallion, Doja Cat. Great performance. Really was a great performance. Say So, wow, it was incredible. It's one of the best performances I've seen. I gotta give it up. I can't hate on you. And Cardi B and Meg, you got me talking about you on my show. So obviously that performance stole the show, and it's got everybody talking, and there's so many layers to the performance and the conversations that have come out of it. which is going to be a future conversation. We're going to talk about all those things that Keela was just talking about. All right, everybody. Until tomorrow, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, be blessed. See you tomorrow.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.